Well, thank you so much for being here today. I am so thankful that, oh my gosh, like you just said before we hopped on here, that you met me at 12
Yeah.
at church.
Yeah.
And I was just, a little baby back then. And it's been so wonderful that we're still in each other's lives
Yeah.
and in different capacities now.
Right.
And we both own entertainment companies or, excuse me, event
Or design.
design,
Yeah. Right.
creative companies in the entertainment and event world. So I love, love, love when we get together because we always just and have all these amazing creative ideas. And I can live in that world, right? It just gives me this like dopamine hit
Exactly.
when we get
Yeah.
creative. Oh my
Well,
gosh.
and we're real with each other. So that's the big thing. Yeah.
Yes. And that too. And so just, I'm so grateful that like, who knew when I met you at 12, when I was a kid at church back in the day, that now we'd have such a beautiful friendship.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful to you because I can lean on you in really hard times and
Thank you.
fun times too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And gosh, like even the past just 5 years that I've lived back here,
Right.
really that's, I guess, when more of our relationship
Right. It just sort of
kind of
kicked in.
blossomed. Yeah.
Exactly.
And anyway, I just really enjoy you and I'm grateful for you. So I want to, first of all, welcome you here today.
Thank you.
But what I love, love, love talking about, which you know endlessly about after all of our coffees and lunches and texting and things. But what I love doing here is talking about building up people and women of character.
Right.
And I truly believe that there are a couple foundational things for that,
Right.
to that. So first and foremost, it's self-worth
Right.
and self-respect. And a lot of people don't have that and don't know how to cultivate that. So we talk about self-worth and self-respect because if you don't have that, everything else is irrelevant.
Right.
And you're not going to see the point long-term anyway. So self-worth and self-respect, and then the skill of becoming able to emotionally regulate, which is also very hard for people. And I teach that through storytelling, which is, of course, my background being a performer in the event and entertainment industry. And then I've identified 5 key pillars that you need to put a lot of time, effort, and energy into to having a long-term life of character, which are self, faith, health and fitness, wealth and finance, and relationships. And again, why you're here is because you exemplify that and you pour into all those things in your life. And so I'm just so excited to get your tidbits and wisdom today. So thank you for being here for that and this purpose and supporting me on this journey. I love, like I always say, I love hearing from real stories of real women with real character. And like I said, that's definitely you. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Oh my. Well, I'm the owner of Floral Architecture and Design. And our company's around 14 years old now.
Amazing.
We also opened a sister company 2 years ago that my husband primarily runs. But of course, when you're married and you're both involved and you're both creative.
Yes.
With him being an illustrator, graphic artist, designer, builder, we kind of share it with each other. But it's called Bottega Artist Studio. And he does backdrops and builds and signage. And he's in the middle of an enormous project that we're delivering Friday. And I'm so excited to showcase this.
Oh my gosh.
Because honestly, in today's world, people think it and they want it developed and created. And if you're willing to do it, we can build it. And so we've got a huge build out for a big first birthday party this Friday. So super excited about that.
Show me more details after.
I will. It's quite amazing. But I think the biggest thing is I have 2 boys that I'm very proud of.
Yeah.
They're just wonderful guys, great personality, lots of fun to be with. Yeah. And they do like spending time with their parents, which is kind of weird. I think when you get in your 20s and your early 30s, that's their age group.
Yeah.
And so we try to spend a lot of time with them. And but the biggest thing is I married the love of my life at 36, or not at 36. Sorry, I've been married 36 years, and we met at 15 at church.
That's amazing. How dreamy.
I thought he was cute, and he didn't know I existed. So it was like, who's this chick following me around? Who is this girl? And And a couple years later, we went out, and in 4 months we got engaged, and a year later we got married. And so,
And 36 years
and
passed
30
somehow.
wow. I
Oh
mean,
my
I'll be
gosh.
honest, when people say, "Oh, it just happened the other day," it really does feel that
I
way.
know.
I can remember the details of going to the
Yeah.
church and, getting ready and walking down
Ugh.
the aisle and being afraid I was going to trip going down the aisle. You remember all the details, and
Yeah.
it's like 36 years, how'd that happen?
Yeah.
But everybody says once you start having children, and it's true, you start having kids, your life's a blur because
Yeah.
you're in karate and basketball and football and
It's true.
whatever it may be. You're busy.
All
So,
of it. All of
all
it.
of it. So,
Yeah.
you know. Um, but I love the fact that I created this company. I started
Mhm.
in floral design, kind of fell into it because I was in school for interior design. That's my
Mm.
passion is interior design. I love that. But I kind of fell into because
Yeah.
somebody needed help,
Yeah.
and I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kept. It's funny because my family kept saying, "You're gonna get a real job someday. You need to be in a bank, or you need to be an attorney or something. A real job." And I was like, "But I'm creative, and my family. There's nobody else in my family background that's creative."
Yeah.
And so they look at me like, for the longest time, you're a weirdo.
Yeah.
And now they're like, "Oh, look what you did."
Yeah.
But I got comfortable enough and stepped growing into it. And so I managed a company here in town for 15 years and decided I kind of wanted to see what I could do by myself.
Yeah.
Didn't think it was possible. My husband's going, "Oh, you should be an event florist." And I'm like, "No."
Not me.
In 2 years, I 4 times my income.
Amazing.
And we opened up in 2013. And the crazy thing is, I was like teetering on doing this, and it was just a lot going on. My mother was older, and I was literally going to the nursing home every day
Yeah.
so that she would do rehab and stuff. And my mom died on a Thursday. My sister lives in Brazil. I was already scheduled for this trip, and she said, "Just keep the trip. I'll come." We had a celebration of life on Sunday. By Tuesday
Mhm.
morning, we were on the flight to Brazil. And we wrote my business plan for floral
I
architecture on the
love
flight. I
it.
saved the notebook. To this day, I
Oh
have the
my
notebook that we
gosh.
put everything in. And every once in a while, you go back and look at it because
Yes.
you realize how far I've come.
Yes.
Because at
Yes.
first you're like, "Oh, I really haven't done anything." I'm like, wait a
That's
minute, no, I have.
amazing.
Based on where I came from and my background, which I think we'll talk about,
Yeah.
you'll see what I mean by I did what,
Yeah.
And you have to go back and look at what you accomplished because I think we
Yeah.
don't do that. We don't give ourselves time to do that.
No.
So that was fun. That was fun to go back, but it was amazing because my sister is, um, she's like IT manager,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's the stuff I don't have.
No,
I'm
me either.
creative, but I need someone to do the
too.
accounting and the
Me too.
management for me because I'm just like, "Oh,
The Excel sheet.
let's be
I
pretty,
know. I
let's do
know.
this and this, and we can build anything." And then
I
it's like,
know.
"Oh wait, we have to do this in a smart way." So she was really great at lining this out for
Yes.
me, which was
Yes.
huge.
You need to put that in a shadow box or something.
You just touched on something I'm doing. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I can't wait to hear. Oh my goodness. My creative brain is already buzzing. But that's so special. And
Yeah.
I love even hearing that because in your business, you take concept to design, like, right? You do that whole process.
Sure.
And that's what you did with obviously your business
Sure.
plan,
Sure.
got this dream and then the process of putting it together, piecing it together and tweaking it.
And I also did it in a financial smart way because I didn't have a big backer.
Yeah.
So I went through it like, how can I do this and not, if it flops, not be massively in debt because I just put everything online.
Yeah.
On the line to do
know.
it. So that was huge.
Risk management.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is I think one of the biggest barriers and obstacles to people jumping into a first business or business at all, right? That new risk piece is so heavy.
Well, they're scared and it makes sense. But in today's world, we can do just about anything. We can almost try anything a little bit and dip our toes in the water and say, "Does this work? Okay. Yeah. Okay. If this okay, let's do it."
Absolutely.
But I think that's a problem. People are scared to do it. But in today's world, they really need to try.
Yeah.
Because why not?
Absolutely. And even if it's just for a season, like what I have learned from having my own business, I mean, my goodness, the lessons I've learned are so abundant that, then if I do decide, you know what, I'm going to hang this up or just kind of let it run itself and do something else, like the skills and things I've learned are just so transferable to everything else.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I ended up homeschooling my youngest through this because it gave me that time. I was home. And, it's funny, he teases me that I didn't completely destroy him, and I'm
good
like,
job.
I keep reminding him, how he's massively successful in Miami.
Yeah. Yeah.
In investments. And I'm like, look what I made you here. He's like, okay, wait, you had nothing to do with that. I'm like, he loves to tease me, but like, no, you went on to college and you succeeded.
Yeah.
You did well. But just doing this business offered me that freedom.
Absolutely.
Because I could be more involved and more present.
Yes. Well, and also it gives you the ability to say, hey, baby, like I did it, you can too. And I hope that you do it 10 times better than me.
Right.
That's what I want for my kids.
Yeah.
To show them you can
show
do
me
anything.
Up, please.
Yeah, please show me up. Okay. Yeah, that's such a beautiful gift that you showed them you can do anything and you can take a risk on yourself. Like,
I don't have a problem in my kids doing really well and taking care of me. Because it's funny. That's what he said. He says, I'm going to retire you.
I love that.
And I'm like, that's sweet. Just honestly take care of yourself.
I know that's a gift alone.
That's a gift alone. Yeah. But to have someone say that to you is a really neat thing.
That's so beautiful. That's going to make me cry.
I know. I'm kind of like, woo.
Yes, but that's so wonderful because obviously that's the gratitude he has for the life you gave him and the support you still give. Yeah. And that's beautiful. Not everyone gets that.
Yeah.
You know? Also, just let's go ahead and touch on the self-leadership that is required for just life and motherhood. But also you talked about you started your business and you were homeschooling at the same time. I mean, the amount of self-leadership and self-discipline you have to have for that is so much.
You know me, you'd be like, you learn the hard way. You go,
do.
oh, I maybe shouldn't have binge watched that show and might have been doing more on something else. You do. You falter. You will.
Yes,
Everyone will do that.
Yes.
You're going to mess up. But the goal is you learn from your mess ups and you go, okay, next week I need to be a little bit more involved.
Yeah.
It's easy because people will say there's no way I can work from home or work for myself or I won't make any money.
Yeah.
I won't be self-disciplined. You will. I think most people would because you have responsibilities.
That's true. Yeah. I like that you said that you will falter because nothing's a perfect ride. There's bumps along the way no matter what. Ryan Leake says it. Do you follow him at all? I love everything he is putting out.
Check him out though.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Yeah. I'll send you his stuff. But Ryan Leake talks a lot about the concept of failing forward. And I love that. I mean, that's so true.
Because society tells you if you fail backwards.
Yeah.
But if you're smart, you learn from your mistakes.
Yes. So true.
And sometimes those mistakes are the best thing that ever happened.
Oh, for sure. I think we've both seen that different times in our lives. Yeah. Well, and also, like you said, I can fight myself on this concept a little bit too, but, making it work, working for yourself, raising the kids also in those seasons, like it's a choice. Like it's a hard choice. Sure. But, you just have to, I think we forget sometimes that we have choice.
Oh, yeah.
And that everything in our life is a byproduct of those choices. I'm kind of there, now I'm like, oh, like, I read the other day, the choices you've made the past year are what have, led you to today. And the choices you make from today till next year are going to, that's how it goes. So what choices are we making daily to set us up for the rest of the day, tomorrow, the next year?
Well, how people will do New Year's resolutions.
Yes.
I've never been too big on that.
Yeah.
I've changed that rule in my mind a little better. It's not, I wouldn't call it a resolution. I don't even know what I put a name to it.
Yeah.
More like a personal goal plan for the year, but I don't do it for the whole year. I do it for the moment and see where we're at. But to me, like around this time of year, I kind of refine it and go, where am I at? And what have I blown off that I could have done?
Yeah.
What do I need to tweak?
Yep.
Why do we just do that once a year in our lives? Do it once a month if it helps you.
That's true.
Because depending on the trauma you're in the middle of it sometimes, if you're in a lot of trauma, doing that for an entire year and go, okay, this is my plan, and I'm not going to look at this until December 31st of the end of the year. Yep, that's silly.
Yeah. That's such a good tip. So, we'll go through this too, but one thing I love talking about is not just nice stories that make us feel good or nice concepts that are like, oh, yeah, I can, not just feel good messages, but the how to.
Right.
And so you just gave us an amazing how to because it's those check-ins.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Weekly, monthly, however often you need to do it, do a check-in with yourself and go through those 5 pillars of being a woman of character. Where am I at with all this? That's just a good structure anyway.
We don't allow ourselves any time just with us.
Because
if we're not locked in on a position, whether it's at a job or we work for ourselves, or we're stuck with our face in our phone trying to update our Instagrams to be focused and out there.
It's true.
But I mean, I'm a big notepad girl.
Me too.
I love to write. It's therapeutic for me, even if I'm just writing to-do list. But I will reevaluate our finances twice a year.
Yeah.
What here can I adjust to make our lives better?
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to be rich. I need to be, for me, debt free.
Yeah.
Because that's rich.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if you're debt free or close to it, and you pay things off as fast as you can, or whichever you need to do it.
Well, it's the chains. You're breaking the chains.
Exactly. But the thing is, if I get an opportunity to take off and go to Brazil, like I go occasionally, or if I need to go to the West Coast, I can't go, well, I really shouldn't do that. Or, or I can't take a job that I want to take because it may not bring as much as I want. Right. But I really want to do the job because it's interesting.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're speaking to that, the wealth and finance where you got to take care of your finances first. You have to have that in order because then you do have even more choice.
Yeah. People are like, oh, I don't want to hassle with that. Well, you have to hassle.
Listen, the hassle and the aftermath is far worse. Yeah. It's a far worse, promise you.
I have this thing I tell my kids. And I mean, I learned it. I read this book years ago called, I can't even remember the exact name of it, but what's your plan for the next 5 years? Mm-hmm. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? I think it's like a 5-year plan book. It's a really little book. It's a great book to read. I wish I'd written it down to remember the name, but I used to tell my kids, like when they were 15, I'm like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Well, tell a 15-year-old that. That just blows their mind.
I know it does.
It's really a good thing for any age to, because I tell you what you do right now is going to affect you 5 years from now. Yes. But one of the things I tell my kids is if you do not handle your life, if you do not handle your issues will handle you. Because somewhere, some way, these things are going to come to a head. You can either guide that trajectory or you can let it happen to you. And then to me, it's always better to be one step ahead of the problem because then you're in control of it. Absolutely. I don't want the problem controlling me. I want to control the problem.
Well, because then also I think you get into this place where you're just managing.
Yeah. You're just
and not
surviving
living.
it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, that also is speaks to the concept of, the path is through. Like stop brushing things under the rug. Like it's going to be painful to address the hassles or that mountain you have in your life, but you have to, or it's going to squash you later.
Stick your head in the sand. Yeah. You think of the ostrich with his head in the sand and going, well, okay, nothing's going wrong because I don't see it. It's still there.
It's still there.
The debt's there. The emotional issues are there that you're not facing.
It's true.
I don't have it all figured out.
No.
But I think I'm in the place in my life where I wish I knew these things years ago because I could have managed my life better and my issues that I ran across.
For sure.
But all you do is you grow with it and you learn. And that's one of the things about podcasts is I love podcasts.
Oh, me too.
You learn so much from them just listening to how people, and you just take your pieces from it, the pieces that work for you, and you move on.
Well, it's wisdom. Like I've fallen in so much more love with wisdom. And again, like, I started this project because when I was going through my divorce with my toddler and my newborn, I still like we said before we got on, like I don't enjoy TV. I rarely watch a movie because I don't want, so sometimes there's a really good movie or a good show that comes out, but I don't want reality TV, the garbage.
No.
Yeah. Funny. But I don't want I can't really, I don't enjoy just consuming other storylines
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So, but podcasts and
Mhm.
self-development and
Mhm. Better
real
for us.
stories
Yeah.
of real
Yeah.
women.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's what I wanted to
Yeah.
hear.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to fall asleep to at
Right.
night.
Right.
And so that's what we're doing here. So I've fallen in love with wisdom and like, give me something real.
You
Give
put
me
me in your ear
something.
tonight when you go.
Yeah, I will. Okay. Mary said,
Mary said.
oh my gosh. But that's true. You know, one thing I say a lot is if I'm ever chatting with a girlfriend and kind of giving advice or input that I also need, I'm like, well, me to me, and I'm going to say that to myself, me to me, if you do not handle your issue,
Yeah.
your issue's going to handle you. And I don't
Exactly.
want that out of control feeling that
No.
comes with that.
Well, I tease friends of mine. I'm like, I talked to my boss and she said, you need a day off, and I said, really? Yeah. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Love it.
I'm taking a day off.
I love
'Cause
that.
I said I could.
Yeah.
And they laugh at that, but it's true. We don't allow ourselves to either do something we need to do for ourselves or especially women, especially moms.
It's true.
I got a massage sitting on my, like a gift card for a massage that I've had sitting on my dresser for 4 months.
Yeah.
I just haven't said, oh, I need to do it. I'll be like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, but I got to do this, this, and this. Go do the massage.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. Well, we have to take care of ourselves.
Mhm.
I've even been saying that to my kids lately. I'm like, baby, I love you so much and I want to give you my full attention, but I can't right now.
Mhm.
Mommy's super sleepy. Like, you need to go to bed so that mommy can get rest so that I can
Right.
be fully available
Right.
because I want to hear what you have to say. I want to like have fun with you and be silly,
Mhm.
but mommy needs to go rest. So just even telling them like, this isn't about you. I need to take care of myself.
Well,
so I
you're
can take
teaching
care
them
of
and
you.
instead of brushing them off, they're smart.
Yes.
They understand.
Yes.
And you're giving them solid reasons rather than just
Yeah.
saying, because I said so.
Right. No,
No,
I don't.
that's always a
I'm
great
not
answer.
I'm not a that mom. I think I've maybe said that once.
Well, I think everyone has said that once when you're like, you know.
I've had it. So actually just a funny story before we kind of get into some of these other questions. But this morning I love also here and in like workshops and seminars and coaching, I love talking about entertainment and stage principles that you can really apply to life. And so one thing I was teaching the kids this morning was reading the room.
Yeah.
Because my son, listen, my children love life and it's so beautiful. And they remind me that life is a beautiful thing to live.
Mhm.
So I'm so grateful for their high energy.
Yeah.
But this morning I was like, lunches, clothes, uniforms, hair, all this
Right.
stuff. And they were just a little extra off the wall.
Mhm.
And I said, baby doll, let's learn how to read the room.
Mhm.
Mommy's getting these things done. And I like being silly with you, but there's a time and a place. It's hard to parent and teach that gray area
Right.
of like, they're not doing anything wrong, but now's not the time for me.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that it was even an inappropriate time. You're allowed to be silly in the house, but like mommy's doing stuff. So anyway, I was teaching them
Don't
how to
make
read
mommy
the room.
need a day drink. Okay.
Okay. So funny. But okay, so you know what? You can maybe tell me what you have written down for the next. Did you?
I don't know which. I went in order, but I don't even know where we're at.
Okay, let's see. We were just chit-chatting and stuff.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about. I'm curious how you
princess, my virtues.
Well, you didn't tell me your favorite princess, so tell me.
I had to really think about this. I did.
Okay, who?
Probably Snow White.
Oh, tell us why.
I don't know. I've always loved Snow White. She's been special, but I think because she went through some struggles. I mean, it's funny. Most of the princesses did.
Yeah.
But Snow White was just a little
extra.
I don't know, just different. And it was just something about her and the guys that helped her.
I know.
And, in what I went through, my adopted dad rescued me, in my opinion, and saved my life. So I look at her with them.
Yeah. Oh,
sorry.
That's wonderful.
Sorry.
No, you're doing exactly what you need to do. That's incredible. What a beautiful story.
Thanks.
Do you want to catch your breath and tell us more about that? And we can, because I think
said I wouldn't cry.
I probably will next.
Well, today's 6 years he passed. Today.
Wow. Yeah.
So
well, then
probably a little raw, but
yeah.
But no, I want to touch because the reason I'm who I am, and that's what it's interesting. My youngest tells me this because sadly he went through a divorce young.
Yeah.
And he said, it was still one of the best days of my life, but it's who I am today because of it. And
Mm.
if we look at those struggles and why we went through them,
Yeah,
there's reasons we go through things because it makes us bigger, better, stronger.
it's
And
true.
then we're able to help other people,
No, it's true.
you know?
I was talking to a girlfriend this morning who's really struggling in her marriage.
Yeah.
And she was saying, I'm so sorry. She had sent me like a 10-minute voice memo, and then we were on the phone for 30 minutes. And she said, I'm so sorry for taking your time. Like, I shouldn't be
Mhm.
dumping this on you. I said, you need to stop
Yeah.
that dialogue,
Right.
because I would not give you the time right now if I couldn't.
Right.
That's on me.
Right.
And I said, also, I said, because I'm divorced and a single mom. And I
Mhm.
said, you don't know the amount of people who have given to me what I'm giving to you. And this is my turn that's going to make me cry. It's my turn now to
Yeah.
give the favor to
Sure.
somebody else, to
Sure.
pass it on, because
Sure.
I had women who were before me, like they got divorced. They paved the way, essentially, that there's hope, you're going to make it. You're going
Right.
to be okay.
Sure.
You can do this. And that's what I'm doing for her. And I'm like, no, stop this nonsense, dialogue of, oh, I'm so sorry that I'm talking to. No, let it out. I'm here
Yeah.
for the journey
Good.
and
Yeah.
the ride. So
Well, it's interesting. I've felt in the last few years almost guilty that I've had such a amazing husband, because so many people
Oh.
don't get that. Like, how did I get that lucky? Um,
Gosh, because we all have different things in our life that are weaker points.
Right.
Like, so even if
Right.
you think about the 5 pillars of being a woman of character, right?
Right.
Some people have, like, I can look on there and I know what I know
Mhm.
in order from 1 to 5,
Sure.
what my strongest one is,
Yeah.
and my
Right.
weakest.
Right.
Same with everybody.
Mhm.
And our hardships are all like within one of those pillars. Like, we
Yeah.
don't all have the same types of hardships.
No, because if we did, we'd all be robots.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how we help one another. That's how we move through life. That's
No,
how
it's
life
true.
changes us.
Yeah, and how we're
yeah.
relatable to different people in life. But so tell me, it sounds like you kind of went through some of these questions with like your upbringing
Yeah.
and your family.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So tell me a little bit about what virtues and character traits really got you through your upbringing. But you know what? First, Mary, like, let's step back and tell us a little bit about your upbringing. Like, give us like a little synopsis first.
I was raised in a family of there's 3 of us kids. Uh, I have a sister and a brother. My brother died suddenly about 10 years ago. He was older. I'm the youngest. My parents were good people, hardworking. My dad had something wrong.
Yeah.
I can look back now and more evaluate it better, but there was something mentally not good. Okay, he had a lot of problems. That it was more verbally and anger driven, abusive. Never really physical, but just a lot of threatening to burn the house down. It was just always a lot of stressful chaos. And it really kicked in more after my 2 siblings left. Something just broke, and he just got it got worse. But it got so out of hand that I started it kind of came out when the church we attended, I was probably about 9 when the pastor showed up there. The new pastor came, and he could tell something was going on.
Yeah.
We lived way out in the country in farmland, and he would drive us home. I grew up in Pennsylvania, and he would drive me home after youth group on Sunday night, and I'd cry all the way home. And finally, he just started asking questions.
Yeah.
Because, when you don't really know how wrong it is, because how do you know that's not going on somewhere else? You kind of think,
for
well, this
sure.
must be the norm.
Yeah.
And I can relate to that now, because people be like, well, why did you put up with it? Well, I didn't know it wasn't necessarily wrong, because
No, that was your worldview.
right. Because, sure, you can spend the night at a friend's house and maybe just people are on their best behavior when someone's there.
Right.
But
Well, because you
don't
had
know.
good moments
Right.
growing up also. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I do believe both. I mean, my mom was amazing. I do believe my dad loved me. I love my
Yeah.
dad. I've
Yeah.
forgiven him.
Yeah.
That took a long time.
Yeah.
But so this pastor and his wife started sensing things, started talking to me more and more and more. And, at one point I had a go bag outside my bedroom window. We put stuff in it for me to go, and we tied it to a tree. And so it was there whenever I needed it and how to go out the window and what house to go to when I did.
Mm.
This is before cell phones. So I knew to go 3 houses down to so-and-so's farm,
Yeah.
have them call. The phone number for my, the pastor was in there, and never really had to use it, but, you know, he knew things weren't good.
Yeah.
And he knew I was terrified and I didn't sleep much at night. And it continually got worse
Yeah.
the older I got. And so so long story short, I started spending almost every weekend with them and his family in town.
Yeah.
And so Friday afternoon, he'd pick me up from school.
Beautiful.
My parents said, that's fine. You know, I was the youngest. I was, you know, probably made it easier on them to have their life, you know, and
Yeah.
I would be able to be there with church and everything. And long story short, after time went by, I spent more and more time there.
Mhm.
And at one point, he said, listen, you know, why don't you let her come stay with us? And I didn't find out till in my probably late 20s that they had officially adopted me years back.
Wow.
But he was afraid that I would treat my mom differently. He did not want me to. So I ended up living with them quite a bit through my early teens. And then I lived with them all the way through high school and, you know, lived with them past that. And, you know, they just became my second family.
Yeah.
So I say I'm adopted, but I was adopted kind of in a weird, long story, you know, because I knew that they always teased me that I was their adopted daughter, but I didn't know it was official till years later.
Wow.
Right after my mom died, he told me, well, you know, and he gave me the letter that my dad had said, yeah, you can have her.
Wow.
That was huge, you know. So, because my sister was always going, can we please adopt her? Can we please adopt her? And they didn't want to tell her that. So it was neat the night they told me that.
Oh my gosh.
I was like crazy.
Oh my goodness.
you know?
Wow. You know, so I've known a little bit about your story. Like I knew a lot of those parts,
Right.
but I didn't know some of that. And so just hearing that is like,
Yeah.
I'm so glad we're here talking about this because, you know, looking at you, you would never know that, you know, you're a successful, florist to say the least, you know.
Well, because a lot of people, they think they go through trauma I felt unworthy for years. I felt I'm not deserving of it. I'm a nobody.
Right.
I felt dumb, all that, you know, you name it. I've multiple things changed that. One, my adopted dad I love my adopted mom, but she had some struggles.
Yeah.
So we weren't as close. She had some mental struggles and things like that. But my adopted dad just told me, listen, you are more than worthy. You are smart. You're capable. There's nothing you can't do. And that really helped me. And then when I met my husband, who was my biggest supporter, my biggest fan, I was like, oh, well, okay. Yeah, I am okay.
Yeah.
You know, that was huge.
But okay. So with that, how long do you really think that took you to actually grasp or believe that you were worthy? Like how many years?
40.
Yeah.
Probably I was 40 before I really truly started to believe it.
Yeah.
I had a lot of years of not believing that. And I think you can go through that. You know, one of the things I thought about in coming to talk is, you know, all of us go through something.
Yeah.
I don't care. There's not a person on this earth that hasn't gone through something. But what the part of that is it's what we do with it that defines us.
Absolutely.
You can let it destroy your life.
Yeah.
You can let it ruin your career, you not have a family, not move forward in anything. Or you can say, this is not going to ruin me. This is not going to define who I am.
No.
I went through an attempted rape in college. And, you know, it was one of those things where the guy that tried, and I actually escaped. But he told me, he says, I know where you live. I know who your family is. He had a knife that was about, I don't know, looked like it was 20 inches long.
My
but
gosh.
he said, I've done mercenary work. I will take out your family if you go to the police. I never did. I felt guilty for years from that because I knew where he worked, and he was actually a maintenance guy at an apartment complex in Ocala. And I'm like, how could I be this horrible of a person? But I was terrified.
I know.
And I never dealt with it until I got married and started having issues with our life, and the fact that, you know, and I went and saw someone at that point, which was the best thing because I didn't deal with it.
Yeah,
But you
that's a
have to
hard
deal
thing.
with it.
You do.
You think, oh, I'm just not going to think about it. It didn't happen. I made it out.
Right.
But
Could have been worse.
Could have been worse. Yeah. But I mean, I was taken out in the country, struggled to get away, fell out of the pickup truck and fought with the guy, got away from him. He pushed me backwards and I got caught up and tangled into a barbed wire fence. And it's interesting. About the time I started finding myself and feeling okay about myself, those scars went away.
Wow.
It took about 18, no, I would say, no, sorry, about 10 years, 10, 12 years. And all of a sudden the scars started to dissipate.
Wow.
Because I couldn't see them. And my husband's like, your scars are almost gone.
Wow.
But
that's spiritual, I believe.
yeah. It was not only mentally, I'd wrap my head around it.
Right.
Physically, I started to change.
Right. That's wild.
Just because the rape didn't fully happen didn't mean I wasn't traumatized.
Oh my gosh, of course.
And
yeah, nothing. Even with my life, I can say, well, I don't have it that bad. And right, that's the gift of gratitude and just perspective, right? Those things are healthy.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean that we're left, like you said, unscarred.
Mm-hmm.
People always say children, oh, well, kids are so resilient.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, they are resilient.
Right.
Sure. Yeah. Yes.
Right.
True. Fact. But that doesn't mean there's not ramifications.
Right.
So that's what you're explaining.
It still has to be addressed. It
Yes.
still has to be walked through.
Yeah.
No matter what age. I mean,
absolutely.
I walked through the whole crazy of my childhood for years.
Yeah.
And for years, I was felt like sort of not with a family. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Didn't feel like I was truly with mine.
Right.
Didn't feel like I was truly with theirs. I was just sort of there.
Well, belonging. You're just kind of floating.
Yeah. I just belonged, but not belong.
Yeah.
And it's funny because my siblings, my biological siblings, they were off having their lives. They were married, they had kids. They really didn't know. And I don't think I thought it was something I could even tell them. So I didn't.
Right.
So it was interesting. Right before my older brother died, it was like the year before he died, he'd told me how many years he'd been angry with me.
Wow.
Because he had seen me on Facebook talking about my parents, and I was never labeling my real parents very often in that. And it wasn't until we took a trip to the beach, took a drive, and we had like a 4-hour lunch. And I told him everything. And he felt so bad because he's like, I could have helped you. I could have been there.
Wow.
And so once they realized everything that, they couldn't control it. It's just, it happened.
Yeah.
And, I made it through. I'm okay. And I love them. I love my biological siblings as much as I love my adopted siblings.
Yeah.
And,
Wow. But like you said earlier, it's how you shape the story in your mind after the fact.
Yeah.
That changes everything.
Right. Right.
Because you could still be very much in that could still be really holding you captive.
Right. Right. And it certainly did. I would say there was a good, I probably dove into my kids.
Yeah.
Dove into my marriage, dove into my kids. And that was good for a point, but I still wasn't handling it.
Yeah.
I actually went to a youth conference with church and we were a leader.
Yeah.
And a speech affected me.
Yeah.
And I went, okay, I got to just walk away. I got to forgive.
Yeah.
I got to move forward. This doesn't need to define me. Why am I hanging on to this? This is stupid.
I know.
It's like I wore a 40-pound backpack for years going, okay, I'm taking this thing off.
Yes. But how freeing, right?
Yeah.
But truly this is so beautiful that you are sharing all this. Thank you. Because truly, that's what I love helping people do is getting sober from their own mind.
I love that.
Yeah, because that is what it truly is.
Right.
Because we can have these thoughts on replay in our mind, and they're almost like they are these addictive cycles of rumination, and it just creates really bad feelings, really bad actions. You're not taking care of yourself anyway. Can go down that rabbit hole very long, but we have to get sober in our mind and make sure that we're not trapping ourselves mentally.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But tell me also, so speaking of character, right? I love talking about character and character traits and having a strong personal identity, which I call a personal character study. But tell me, out of all of that, what character traits and virtues did get you through that, do you think?
Oh man, I think I had fortitude I didn't know I had.
Mm.
You know,
Well, forged in the fire of fortitude. You know?
sometimes you get what you didn't plan to get.
Yes.
I don't know. That's profound. You get what you didn't plan to get. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think, the old inner story, wasn't good enough.
Mm.
I'm not worthy of anything. Nobody really wants me. I sort of felt sort of wanted, not wanted.
Yeah.
I think the biggest lesson I learned was to take care of myself, to focus on myself. My virtues were Christ-centered. I knew that I wanted a life with Christ involved.
Yeah.
But man, only in the last few years have I really landed on that better than I've ever been.
Mm.
I thought I would. Oh, I've come so much further. And that's been putting the right people in place, the right church in place, the right environment. We're involved in Community Bible Church in Ocala, and we've been there for about a year now. And it's an environment and I mean, my adopted dad was a pastor, so I've been in church my whole life.
Right, true.
But churches are changing and evolving in today's age, and this church is very counseling
heavy or forward or
and it's something I've never experienced. Counseling's free.
Yeah, well,
I remember walking in and we were dealing with a situation in our life right now of addiction.
Yeah.
Just in our family.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll back up and say my adopted dad died of alcoholism.
Mm.
His dad was an alcoholic, and I remember him telling me his whole life, I never want to be an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Well, my youngest sibling died in a really freak accident at 34, and he had four little kids at the time. Ugh. My dad just couldn't move past.
Yeah.
And that's how he soothed his pain. And while I hate that, that's the way the road he took.
Yeah.
But in saying that, I think, and I've completely lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's okay. So your church is very counseling forward.
Sorry. So when I walked in, thank you.
You're
completely
welcome.
drew me back to that. When I walked in, I was kind of needing counseling.
Yeah.
But I didn't know where. I had gone to some Christian counselors in the past in town, and it was okay. But I walked in and they were like, met this amazing person. Her name's Jenky. Mm-hmm, and she actually works with your mom.
Yes.
And she was just loving.
Yeah.
And I was like, you have counseling. I'm like, I kind of could use some of that right now.
Yeah.
And so I started counseling, and it's biblical counseling.
Yep.
It's the most phenomenal thing I've ever met and run into and found. And the fact that I think it needs to be, I mean, churches are there's lots of churches and lots of places that are good in Ocala. I'm not downing one or the other, but you have to find what works for you. But I feel like our churches need to be really here for people going through things.
Yeah, I think well, first of all, you're giving a great plug to counseling and mentorship because like you're also pointing out, the church kind of got away from that. Like it was that. Right. And then just, and maybe doing church differently and trying to meet different needs.
Right.
We kind of, it's not even being nasty about
no, I'm not.
What the church is or isn't doing.
That.
No, it's just saying that, these days, what maybe the church staff used to could provide you, now it's like definitely you need to be getting in counseling.
I wasn't familiar with biblical counseling because it's a completely different thing.
Yes.
And it's mind-boggling and how and amazing it is. And it's crazy because it's all right there. It's in front of us. And, and it's changed me. This year's been good for me. Good. I needed it.
Good.
So
that's so beautiful. I can see it on you. I can see the emotion coming through. But God also tells us, I'm going to chop up the verse a little bit, but seek me and find me.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that's what you've done. Yeah. And we forget that, talking about that faith pillar, we forget that there's effort. Like, yes, Jesus Christ, died on the cross for our sins, and that's unchanging, but we do need to put forth some effort and to truly live a Christ-centered life. Like you just mentioned, you were longing for, it requires effort. All relationships.
Well, watching someone go through addiction is painful in itself. But what is it doing in my life? What is it changing in and that's been the thing. It's changed me.
Yeah, for sure.
And a lot in a good way.
Yeah.
And I certainly would never have said that a year ago. I would have, this is
Right.
destroying me. This is killing me. This
Right.
is whatever. It's changing me in a good
So
way.
what flipped that exactly?
Certainly the counseling
Okay.
and making me realize that, and I think that's the big thing, addiction, that I've learned, even watching my dad in addiction, it didn't click.
Yeah.
But seeing it go, watching someone else go through it again, we can't control addiction.
No.
The person going through it is the only one that fully has control. And when they're ready to release the kraken from their body, just to get away
That's
from
true.
whatever it is holding them down,
It's true.
whether it's a drug of choice or a thing that a pornography or whatever it could be.
Yep.
You know, there's all forms of addiction. We all have little addictions in our lives.
We do.
The point is how much do we let it control us
It's
or
true.
destroy us? Until they make that final call that says, you know, I don't want to be this person anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I can't say, you know, do it for yourself or do it for this person, do it for your spouse or do it for your parents. They have to do it for themselves. Only when they really want to will they change.
Yep. You know, one thing I always like, I find inspiring for myself, but also just, you know, you have to, until you get so tired of your own excuses.
Right.
And even until you get so tired of yourself, like you won't make a change. Like you have to get to that point. Yeah. Which is not a fun point.
Well, it's easy to look and think, well, why don't you just don't do that anymore? Well, that's really easy to say.
It's not, no.
If somebody told me you can't have chocolate the rest of your life,
yeah,
we might have a problem.
Well, truly, I mean, truly speaking of chocolate, right? I had an eating disorder for 10 years. That was an addiction. And it was only really after the fact that I realized, oh, going through eating disorder recovery and counseling, that was a whole crazy road in and of itself.
Yeah.
But going through that road, it wasn't really until I had really overcome it that I realized, oh, I overcame addiction. Because I mean, I was going through withdrawals and it's wild.
People think addiction, they think, oh, it's drugs.
Right.
Or it's
alcohol.
You know, and they just label it as these two things. No, addiction can be anything.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. So many different things. But really going through the withdrawals and everything. That's wild. But yes, we're the only people who can, you know, have governance over our own lives.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So that just also goes back to like, we have to have really strong self-worth,
right,
to want better for ourselves,
right,
to know that we're worth it, and to have, you know, even like I've been doing this lately, I have a personal mission statement. I know who I am. And at different seasons of my life, like all of us can do, I've lost that. I've lost, who am I? Like I lost myself. Oops.
Right.
Well, good news. You can always find yourself.
Right.
You can always reinvent yourself.
Exactly.
I saw a picture of myself the other day. I was a heavy child. And I kind of looked at myself in this picture and I was like, oh, like I knew what that version of me was going through. Yeah. And I kind of had like big feelings about that version of Lindsay and that Lindsay. And I'm like, gosh, I'm so different now. Yeah. But I also just kind of had this love towards my past self of like, man, she really, you know, she made it. And look at who I've become now. Yeah. You know, honestly, if we talked about like the cycle of a flower or growth of flowers, your industry, like just watching flowers bloom, you know, and even working with, I don't know, maybe you can give us an analogy of that.
I think it's kind of crazy. You ever see there's a video, and I've actually put it out on my site before, but where they do the time-lapse photography.
Yes, I love that.
And it's so cool.
It's so cool.
Because they really do. They start with this, they're kind of crippled. They're kind of like, you know, and then they start getting taller and brighter. Yes. And then they just fully bloom.
Yes.
But I love the ones, there's a lot of flowers that will bloom and then close up and then bloom again.
Oh, yeah.
And that's kind of us.
It is us.
You know, we go through, and that's part of life.
That's the cycle. That's the life cycle of a flower. Right. I mean, my gosh. Yeah, I can see that in my mind right now. Those like, I love those videos. You'll have to send me one if you like follow a page that has those.
Yeah.
But that's what happens.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I've definitely bloomed in different seasons of my life. And
this year we set out, like, I had always been able to maintain my weight.
yeah.
And then I started in menopause.
Yeah.
And I wish, I know people kind of chat about it, but they don't say it a lot. I wish someone
They
had
kind of
just
make jokes about
put me
it.
up against a wall and said, close your mouth, at least 5 years before
Here's
you start
the 8-hour
hitting
seminar.
menopause. Because let me tell you, when you hit menopause, you can't lose an ounce, and you look at something and it goes to your body. And that was, so not only you're going through your life is changing.
Yeah.
I went through, I won't have kids anymore. I can't have children anymore.
Yeah.
You go through this sort of mental thing. I did anyway.
Yeah.
And I didn't have, of course, my husband might say different, but I don't think I was
Yeah.
too much of a monster going through it. I'd ask him, are my fangs out today? Do I need to?
You'd be like, a little bit. Yeah. Put
he's
it
like,
away.
Yeah,
Tuck them away.
Yeah. You kind of bit me earlier, but I gained some weight through it.
Yeah.
And then, it's interesting because then about that time period you're going through menopause, a lot of times people lose their parents or something.
Right.
I went through this period where I lost both my brothers, lost my adopted parents.
Yeah.
I lost like 5 people in the matter of like a couple of years, and it was like devastating.
Yeah.
Not really. And then you already can't lose weight. So now your self-esteem is diminishing because you're hurting. You're not taking care of yourself.
No.
I didn't take care of myself well.
Yeah.
So this past year, I've lost almost 40 pounds.
Yeah.
I still have about another 20, 25 more I'd like to lose. But when I went through this program of fasting, which is also an incredible way to care for your body, which I didn't realize so much about.
Yeah.
Your cells regenerate when you fast.
Yeah.
And I'm talking, you don't have to do anything crazy, but a 3-day fast is amazing.
Yeah.
You get more in touch with yourself mentally, spiritually, physically. But I felt like I'd gained 20 years back in my health. I felt better. I had so much more energy.
I'm taking my notes on all your how-tos. You've given us a lot. So tell me also, well, I do love that. And I thought about you in preparation this morning. I was like, gosh, it really is so purposeful that you're coming on and that we're talking about all these things, because I've seen you pour into your family and relationships. I've seen you change and transform and put time and effort into your health and fitness. We, even have done some classes together before, fitness classes. But our conversations are all very much around these 5 pillars,
Right.
And the Christ-centered. You're giving us, just so much wisdom and insight. But tell me, truly, well, how does this? Let's listen to this question right here. It says, "How does the stronger version of you now navigate change and transition?"
I pray more than I've ever done in my life. I read scripture more. I've got a couple right now that I just keep going back and forth to that just get you through moments.
What are they? Do you know off the
it's
top of
in
your head?
Psalms, and I'm like, I don't remember the exact psalm.
That's
right
okay.
now.
We'll write them down in the
But
description.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
I still worry. Worry and patience are my biggest weaknesses ever.
Your worst character traits.
My worst character traits. If you ask Steve, my husband, he would tell you.
Yeah. Sorry, there's a motorcycle outside.
Yeah, that's my ride. No.
Yeah. How is it?
My hog is here.
Steve.
My hog is here. Yeah. No, worry is my biggest issue.
Yeah.
And I think some of that stems back from childhood, because I would lay in bed at night worrying, what's going to happen tonight? How mad is it going to be?
Yeah.
Is something going to happen that he says will happen? He's always promised these bad things, but I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. So I think we mentally set ourselves up for that. So we struggle with that. So we'll always maybe have some of these struggles. It's how you deal with them later. So for me, it's prayer, it's scripture, but we've actually done things more where we do more together as a husband and wife and family.
Yeah.
With scripture and prayer.
Yes, it's beautiful.
We don't just go on Sunday morning, we sit and we listen to a sermon, we sing some songs, and then we don't talk about it the rest of the week.
Right. It's daily.
It needs to be daily.
Yeah.
And I think for years it was just more going through the motions,
Yeah.
I think it's helped my patience,
Yeah.
but forgiving myself maybe.
Yeah.
We don't forgive ourselves anymore.
No, you've talked a lot about forgiveness. And I love that.
It's good to forgive others, but start forgiving yourself.
Absolutely.
you know,
Yeah. And that's a choice.
yeah, it is, because you're thinking, well, if I had done this, this, and this, these things might not have happened. Or
Right.
if I had maybe,
Let it go.
you can only let it go.
Truly
Let it
though,
go.
it's funny. It's funny. Truly, Elsa, I think about it all the time. Like a couple of my girlfriends, sometimes if I'm in like a little like mental loop, they'll send me the little let it go. Is it GIF or GIF, whatever,
Yeah.
of Elsa. And I'm like, that's right. Like, let it go.
My adopted sister and I do that a lot.
I love it.
We were big Olaf people and all that. And we're like,
but it's true. You've got to let it, that's the Disney. That's how, the good things that Disney has taught us, like truly like let it go, like let yourself off the hook, within reason and like that forgiveness, but it's a choice. We always think like even me in life right now, I'm like, oh, I forget that forgiveness isn't something that will come upon you. Like you wake up one morning and today is a day. I'm going to forgive everybody. That's not how it happens.
No, it isn't. No,
and sometimes it's over and over
again. You have to come back to it. Yeah.
Like it's a daily choice. All these things are daily choices. Well, also let's go back to, let's kind of, well, I want to ask this question too. So we'll come to story in a minute, but tell me, what story do you want to be told about you? I love this question.
Wow. How my story ends?
Well, yeah. Or like,
about me,
like the summary page, like, like Lindsay. So for example, like, wow, Lindsay really loved well.
Yeah.
She nurtured well. She checked in on us. She took care of us. She was mothering by nature. Like that's, one thing.
I hope I made the world prettier.
I think we can say that.
I hope.
That's beautiful.
I hope that I made a lot of people smile. That's an amazing feeling.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Because people don't smile enough.
No.
And the news feeds that we see and before cell phones and everything, people would just, you had a choice. You turn on the TV and I don't want to turn and see that. But if you turn on a cell phone, you're still seeing a lot of ick.
Oh, for sure.
So we have a choice to smile. We have a choice to get up in the morning and how we set your day. And, I hope that, people know I love them when I did what I did that I love. Yeah. Because if you do what you love, it's gonna show.
It's true. So, it's true. Yeah, like
I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, it's that time when I know it's happened to me. I'm sure it's happened to you too. When you're kind of in that sweet spot of life, like doing what you were made to do, which we can't do, 24/7 all the time. No. We have to do the tasks too. But truly, I know at different places or points in my life, people have said, "Wow, you're glowing. Like you were made for this."
Yeah, yeah.
And that's definitely what you've been.
That's
made
me
for.
the day of the event when it's finally. I don't love all the contracts and the.
Of course not.
And the ordering and because man, when you got an $80,000, $100,000 wedding in flowers, that's just the flower budget.
That's insane.
You want to talk about an order? Your head just sort of explodes when you finally hit the send button to my amazing people that I deal with in Jacksonville. You just like you're mentally drained, and it's just not. But the fun part is the creating it.
That's amazing.
And then executing it. The day you execute, and then you step back and go, ooh. I mean, I did a few last year that I kind of pinched myself and said, I did this.
I love it.
Little crazy, like adopted, not sure who I belong to, did this. That's huge. So
I love it. Well, I'm so glad you said that because I want to kind of wrap up here at the end with that story because the negative stories, that you were talking about in the beginning where family used to tell you, well, like, when are you going to get a real job?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And that speaks to me so much, right? Because like, oh, well, entertainment and like doing events, like that's not real. Like you can't make money doing that. Like go do. So, right. I've always kind of like tried so hard to like run away from doing entertainment and running away from the event world. And I always end up back here somehow. Yeah. So I'm like, I better like surrender to this and lean into it. And that was just a bad story that someone thrust upon me that you can't have a career here.
Yeah. They don't see the big picture. and
Well,
all
no,
that.
that comes from people who didn't take a chance on themselves,
Sure, absolutely. Yeah.
or who
Yeah.
want to see. Who knows? It doesn't necessarily come from a bad
Right,
place,
right.
but right, that was a story that was given to you. Like, why don't you get a real job? But we have to identify those negative stories within ourselves and carve them out again and again and again. It's a
Yeah.
stamp that we literally have to remove. It's like a bad tattoo
Right, right.
that you have to carve out and replace it with something better.
Mhm.
And so you had that story of, get a real job, and look at you now, taking $100,000, like, 6-figure invoices for flowers.
Yeah.
Who would have thought, like
No,
you said?
yeah.
And then that story, like you said before, of, you're not worth it.
Right.
And that
right.
took you, which I think is such an abundant thing for people to hear. It took you 40 years
Yeah.
to believe, oh, wait, no, I actually am worth it.
Right.
And I'm sure that you can still say that
And
you
I had a
daily
great
have to
support
adjust
team,
that. Yeah.
and I still struggled with it.
Yeah.
But I think time's fleeting.
Yeah.
Don't put off your dreams. Don't put
Yeah.
off your goals.
Yeah.
Try things.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work,
Yeah.
back up.
For
Try
sure.
again.
And I, just speaking to that specifically, I've done so many different things in my life with career. Like, I don't necessarily have, I guess entertainment is my career, but I've done so many different things. I remember people would always ask me like, well, what are you doing now? I'm like, a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Seriously.
my like bucket of like experience and skill sets and things I've done and rooms I've been in. And
Mhm.
like, I just keep adding to it. And it's really cool
Yeah.
to always see how the stacks for the specific next thing.
Yeah.
I can't even tell. Even today, I got an email of someone, wanting me to do a job for them that I'm like, oh, I could not have said yes to this if I didn't say yes to the past 5 things that didn't really make sense.
Right. Right. I had to learn that too.
Yeah.
Because you don't think you could pull it off, or you don't think,
Yeah.
I've had some really neat things happen to me where I've gotten to work for some celebrities and some
That's
things that
amazing.
I would be like, had someone told me, years before, I'm like, oh, I can't.
Well, but if you have believed go get a real job, you're not worth it. Who are you? You came from this, broken family unit
Right.
growing up. If you had let that be the driving force and story in your mind,
Sure.
you
Yeah.
wouldn't have been able to say yes to
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
So it's so powerful. And like, too, just from a children's perspective, because, those negative stories were given to you like from your childhood.
Mhm.
So as mothers and as older women who, now can give wisdom to the younger generation, what we say to the younger generation is so important. What I say to my kids is so important.
Brings me to something I was
Yeah.
thinking about is your circle matters.
Yeah.
I like that statement,
Yes.
but it is more true than I think we give credit to.
Mm-hmm.
I've had even my kids say this. I don't have that many, or, I only have a few friends. You don't need a lot of friends.
No.
But what you do need is real, genuine friends who will tell you how it really is.
Yeah, it's true.
If you got someone that's a yes girl,
No.
saying, yeah, that's good, girl. Do it. That's fine. Everything's great.
Yeah, you do you,
No.
girl. Take
Yeah,
care of you.
yeah. No, I don't care what you do. It'll be great. No, you need someone that's going to truly
Yeah.
tell you how they feel,
Yeah.
but respect you enough to let you fall on your face if you need to.
Wait, are you talking about
Or-
me?
No, I'm not. No, I'm talking about anybody. No, it's true. A good friend is not going to, beat something into you, but a good friend is
Yeah.
going to be truthful with you.
Absolutely.
And I think that is something that a lot of people don't have. They measure it by, when you go on Instagram, how many people do you follow, or how many friends do you have on Facebook?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell a story about someone. I'm not going to give the name, but they're older, and they said, I don't know if I want to be on Facebook anymore because all these people want to be my friend, and I don't even hardly know them. I don't know them. I don't want to be their friend because I don't know them enough.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, it's first that sounds kind of cold, but no, it really is,
It's true.
because you think, oh, I got 863 friends. What? No, you have people you've met.
You ran into 863 people
Yeah.
at Publix.
Yeah. Well, I'll be doing weddings for people, and they'll go, well, I don't even have this many friends to have. They're all my friends of my parents, or
Yeah.
they're not the close people that we're finding a lot more intimate weddings because people want.
Yeah.
It's the most important day of your life, and they want more people that are more intimate to them. But I think intimate relationships in your circle is what's going to hold you
For
together.
sure.
They're going to hold your feet to the fire too.
Yeah,
when
it's
you're doing
true.
something you shouldn't be
Oh,
doing,
it's true.
or you're not doing what
Yeah.
you could be more accomplishing,
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. Well, they see your potential and they're like, "Baby, you're missing the
yeah,
mark a little bit.
right,
Like, come this way." Cuz we can't mistake just um time with people for true friendship.
right.
Like there are plenty of people I really enjoy hanging out with, and you can say you're casual friends, but then like that inner circle, perhaps we could label it as like you have to really monitor your inner circle because there for me that's the girlfriends like you who are going to say, "Have you prayed about that?
Yeah.
There's more for you."
Quality over
Yeah,
quantity
quality over quantity. Yeah.
in time, in
Yeah.
what we do,
Yeah. Well,
in our
and
friends. I
yeah.
think that's a big statement that can blanket a lot.
Yeah. No, it's true. But I just truly just back to this story piece, um like we said, you in your life were taught like go get a real job and you weren't sure that you were worth it. But what do you think is something that you now like replace that with? Like what is like a new story that you've replaced that with? And perhaps you're going to write one right now, but
That I can do anything I want to do.
yeah.
I didn't used to think that. I don't even know if I knew that a year ago.
Yeah.
I'm looking at different ventures in the design world that I'm really wanting to venture into some other areas that I've wanted to do for years and just didn't think I could,
Yeah.
or didn't think I had the time, or didn't allow myself to do it.
Yeah. Or how could I possibly? No, no,
Yeah,
no. I'll
yeah,
figure it out.
yeah,
That's one thing too, as an entrepreneur, as someone who takes risks on themselves, all the things like your figured out ability is so key. It is
That
like,
comes a lot from my husband too,
yeah.
because I'll be like, when I talk to you, I'm like, well, we're gonna do this. That's because he said he's back here. He's my little angel, going, you can do this, you can do that.
Yeah.
But it's true, and that's
it.
part of the reason floral architecture and design.
Yeah.
It encompasses so much more than just flowers,
Oh,
than
for
just
sure.
than just a wedding or event, or
Oh, for
we like
sure.
doing the big corporate things and all this
Yeah.
stuff. But it also incorporates some different avenues we want to take and explore. There's something that's been tugging at me for years that I really want to dive into because it's loving people, and this is going to be if I get to make this happen, it's going to be loving on some elderly people that really deserve it and need it. And
Yes.
that's been something I've been working on for 5 years.
That's
And I've kind
beautiful.
of
I
just
remember that.
allowed myself to jump into it. So
Yeah.
that's where
That's
we're
great.
at.
Yeah, well, let's touch on your how-tos, right, that you gave us, which were so abundant today. So you gave us do check in with yourself.
Mhm.
Check in with yourself on all these 5 pillars. Check
Yeah.
in with your relationships. Do the check-ins like you said you do a financial
Right.
check-in twice a year.
Right.
Check in with your health and fitness. Hey,
Right.
like, okay, let's reel it back in.
Yeah.
Just the concept of doing personal check-ins is so important.
Right.
So thank you for that. You mentioned your circle matters.
Right.
We're going to keep that one for sure. You really focused more on yourself, taking care of yourself, because again, doing so is not selfish. Doing so is not self-centered. Doing so just gives you the ability to take care of everybody else in your life.
Yeah, if you don't take care of yourself, you're not. And for years,
No.
it was at least when I was younger, it was very much pushed that you were selfish.
Yeah.
You were a snob.
Right.
If you wanted to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
You have responsibilities, lady. You have to take
Yeah.
care of your kids, you have to take care of your home, and you have to take care of your husband, and you have to take care of your job, whatever it may be. Well, if you ain't checking in with your
Yes.
physical, your mental, your spiritual, well, guess what's going to falter? Everything
Everything.
you're doing is going to probably stink.
Yes,
know?
absolutely. Well, you can white knuckle it for only some time,
Right.
and then everything
Right.
falls.
It does.
So for longevity's sake, you've got to pour into yourself
Yeah,
first.
exactly.
I mean, you've seen the benefits, so I'm glad
Yeah.
that you can talk about that. You also talked about the power of like making your life really Christ focused, and then the last one that we just kind of was a theme for us today was choice.
Right.
Like we have the power to choose.
Yeah.
You can choose. You can choose that inner circle.
Yeah.
You can choose how you take care of yourself. You can choose that story that was maybe thrust upon you, but no, I'm going to choose a different story for myself
Right.
because this isn't getting me the results that I want.
Yeah.
But did you have anything else to add for us today?
I don't think so. I think we touched on a lot.
Yeah, we did.
I think, I want my ending to be happy.
Yeah.
I want to bring joy to others,
Yeah.
and I want my kids to know I loved them,
Yeah.
and I worked hard.
Yeah.
Get out there and work hard.
Yes.
It's not going to come to you if you don't do it.
No. That's been one thing on me lately. I really took last year really slow, which I needed to.
Mhm.
I did.
Yeah.
I did need to.
Yeah.
Part of me, has wrestled with myself. Oh, I like should have done X, Y, and Z last year. I was like, no, hold for show. Like
I'm the same.
we do typically
Mhm.
make good choices, Lindsay. So I was like, no, I needed to go slower last year. I was healing still. I had
Yeah.
finally slowed down and like was sitting in, just sitting instead of running
Sure.
after survival mode from
Right.
like being divorced and being a single mom and building a business like all at the
Mhm.
same time. And so I like needed to go slow last year, but really lately I've realized like, okay, like now's the time to pick up and work a little bit
Right.
more because I don't know about you, but you can't find pleasure in pleasurable things if like you haven't put forth the hard work first. Like you
Yeah.
need the different.
I think that's why I'm where I'm at now,
Yeah.
because I took it slower last year.
Mm,
I am more choosy on what I do for work.
Yeah.
I don't take everything that's,
Mm-mm.
it's not about, oh, I hope I get all these jobs. No, I'm particular about how much I'm going to work, what I'm going to work on, when I'm going
Yeah.
to work.
Yeah.
And that's a scary thing to do when you're an entrepreneur because you feel like you really got to be out there doing everything, but you
I
don't.
know. No, you don't.
You need to be smart.
It's true.
But I took it easy last year as well. That's why I was able to lose weight. That's why I was able
Yeah.
to put myself in a better place.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being with me today. And I can't wait to hear the inside scoop about business creative stuff after. But thank you.
Thank
and
you
I'll
for
talk to you
having me.
soon.
Thank you.